What is up, guys? Welcome back to Will of DDT. My name is Anonymous, and today we are going to be looking at some exciting new news for the One Piece card game. All 6 of the new leaders releasing in OP11 have just been announced. So let's dive right into it, guys. I'm not gonna hold this up too long. Let's just check them all out, see what their effects are, and make some predictions about what's going to be good, what's not going to be so good. So first off, we've got Jinbe. So finally, a lot of people have been talking about, Straw Hat leaders. It's ridiculous that we don't have all of them as leaders yet. We are still waiting on Frankie and Brook as leaders, but we finally got Jinbe, so we can add him to the list. So Jinbe is a 5-life pure green leader, Fishman and Straw Hat crew, and his effect is end of your turn. If you've got 6 cards or less in your hand, you get to set up to one of your Fishman or Merfolk characters, and up to 1 Dawn as active. So this kind of seems a little bit like Green Black Isho from set 4. You can do some shenanigans here, I think, where you get to just play units and just attack with them and restand them so that your opponent is forced to swing at your life, and you get to keep all your units safe from attacks, so your opponent doesn't get to get cards out of your hand early game. It could be solid. I don't know. It doesn't look like particularly exciting or anything, but it is pretty neat that you get to restand a Dawn as well. You could probably even use cards like Paradise Waterfall and just restand even more characters. So leader effect, restand 1 character, get a Dawn back, use the Dawn for a Paradise Waterfall, restand another character, just prevent your opponent from attacking your board. Sounds like it could be a successful strategy. I think this could be comboed with some good cards like the Aladdin card from, I think, OP6, OP7. It's a Fishman card that can attack on the turn that it's played, attack characters on the turn that's played, and then you could just restand it. So yeah, pretty neat. And also notice that unlike Isho, it doesn't have a cost stipulation. You can just set any of your Fishman character cards as active. So you could play a freaking Hody, Rush, and then just set the Hody Jones back as active if you wanted to for whatever reason. So pretty neat. I want to see what the support is for it, but as of now, not particularly promising or particularly bad in my opinion. Next up, guys, we've got Shirahoshi. This is a green-yellow leader, so a little bit like Arlong. But if we read the effect, this actually reminds me a lot of Kalgara. So this is a 5-life leader, 5,000 power. So of course, when you've got 5 life with dual colors, you know what it's going to be. This leader can't attack. So that's already looking pretty disappointing. Most of the leaders that can attack don't end up pretty good, but we'll see. So activate main once per turn. You can rest one of your Dawn and flip the top card of your life face up. And then you can play from your hand 1 character with the Sea King type, or up to 1 Megalo character card with a cost that's equal to or less than the total Dawn on your board. So like I said, that's exactly like Kalgara. The difference being over here, you have to rest 1 Dawn. With Kalgara, you have to attach 1 Dawn and attack, but then you get to cheat out a character that's equivalent to the total number of Dawn that you have. So this leader could be good. It's entirely dependent on what the Sea King package looks like, what Megalo character cards we get. I don't have high hopes for it. I just don't. I don't trust them to make an archetype that is worth your leader not being able to attack. But that is, again, a total possibility, because the second card over here, for what it's worth, is cracked. Over here, this is not actually an OP11 card. This is a promo card over here on the right, but we've got a character, Shirahoshi. She is a 4-cost, 0 power, and on play, she gets to play up to 1 cost 5 or lower Sea King or Fishman Island type character from your hand, and then activate main. You can rest this character, and up to 1 of your Sea King type characters can attack characters on the turn it's played. That is pretty interesting. So on your second turn, you could play this down, play this down, cheat out a Sea King for free, a 5-cost Sea King for free, and then it gains pseudo rush, which is kind of nice, honestly. So yeah, I could see this being pretty good. In fact, in Jinbe, I think this character Shirahoshi might be even better with Jinbe because you can play the Shirahoshi, activate it, which involves resting it, and then at the end of the turn, you can restand her so that you can activate her again the next turn, and so that she doesn't get killed right after she's played because she is 0 power, as you can see. So this might actually be better in the green Jinbe leader than it would be in the green yellow Shirahoshi leader. But again, excited to see what the Seeking package is going to be like. I'm not hopeful, but I'm optimistic, I guess. Let's see what we've got coming up here. We've got a purple Katakuri card. This is pretty interesting, guys. Katakuri finally is getting a new leader. A lot of people were anticipating this as soon as it was announced that OP11 was going to be a whole cake set. I think a lot of people were expecting yellow. A lot of the Big Mom players or the Katakuri players from before were expecting to be able to use their 10 cost Big Mom and stuff like that. No dice, unfortunately. He is pure purple. 5 life, 5,000 power, and the ability is actually kind of in line with his yellow counterpart. So when attacking and when the opponent attacks, so you can use this on either turn. Once per turn, you can don -1. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck, not their life. That's interesting. You actually finally get to look at opponent's deck, which is a new mechanic in the game. And then you get to give this leader plus 1,000 for the battle. That is... It's hard to say. It's hard to say if this is going to be good or not, guys. I think it's going to be okay. The problem is Don -1 is just a pretty big setback. Mid-game, you don't want to use this. The yellow Katakuri has no problem just attaching 1 Don to himself and then swinging 7. It's just very easy to do that on curve every single turn. Whereas with this purple version of Katakuri, you have to -1 Don, meaning that you are going to set yourself back if you use this thing early game. So we're going to have to see what the ramp package looks like for this leader. But there are cards that you can use to mitigate this. The 5 cost Kid from OP5 is going to get you a Don back active every time you Don -1. The 3 cost Pudding from OP8, I think that card it's already shot up in price. That card's definitely going to be played in this deck because she gets it back rested, but she still does get your Don back, so you're not losing out. Yeah, there might be some other cards that they reveal in the set that help this guy not, fall super behind by using his ability. But it's a good ability. Checking opponent's top deck. Again, your opponent is going to be incentivized to use that card as counter, just because if you know what it is, they're going to try to get it out of their hand, so you have as little knowledge of their hand as possible. So I think it's not great. There are ways your opponent can kind of play around this and make it less impactful, but it's neat. And depending on, again, what his ramp curve looks like, how quickly he can get to 10, and what boss monster options he has, besides the OP8 9 cost Linlin, this might actually be a pretty good leader. I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. We do have some support for this guy, so right here we're seeing that the deck knowledge is actually going to factor into Katakuri's overall package. So over here we've got a Charlotte Oven, activate main, he's a 4 cost 5k, activate main, you can rest this character, declare a cost of your choice. This is a very Yu-Gi-Oh effect. And reveal the top card of your opponent's deck. If the revealed card has the same cost as the declared cost, you can KO up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 3 or less, then add up to 1 Don from your Don deck rested. So basically, the goal would be you swing with your Katakuri leader, you check the top card of your opponent's deck, and then you play Oven. You would play at Oven, swing with Katakuri, check top card, activate Oven, rest him, and then you would correctly declare the top card's cost from your opponent's deck because you just saw it, and then Oven would get a Don rested and pop a 3 cost. Not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. If you have a 3 cost Pudding out on board, let's say you play Pudding on turn 2, you play Oven on turn 3, then you're actually ramping a Don by using Oven because you would send back 1 Don from Katakuri, Pudding would get it back, and then Oven would get 1 back one back rested. So you would ramp it on by using this guy. Again, so far that is itself not sufficient. I think we need some other ramp cards in order to get this guy to 10 quickly enough, even if you factor in the 6 cost Katakuri that came out in OP7, OP8, I think. Whichever one came out for purple yellow pudding. Even if you factor in that guy, I just don't think this guy's ramp curve is currently very impressive. But again, very happy to be proven wrong with whatever new cards they announce. Next up, we have a purple blue Luffy. Guys, this one is extremely hype. Man, this card is gonna be nuts. I think as soon as this guy was announced, everyone was super hyped to play this leader. Another 3 cost 6k, or sorry, 3 life 6k power leader. So Luffy already has red purple, who is a 3 life 6k power. Now we have a blue purple Luffy, who is 3 life 6k power, and this effect is super interesting. You may activate this effect at the start of your turn if you have 8 or more Dawn. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal 1 Straw Hat Crew character card and add it to your hand, then place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. This is basically an inbuilt search to the leader. So you have to, I guess the goal with this leader would be to ramp very quickly. You want to get to your 10 Dawn turn very quick because again, it says you may activate this effect at the start of your turn. That implies at the very start of your turn, like before your refresh phase, meaning you don't have, you don't restand your characters, you don't gain 2 more Dawn. You're going off of the amount of Dawn you had last turn. So you need to have ended on 8 Dawn the previous turn in order for this guy to get his effect. So this guy gets his effect very late game. Like you need to be on your 10 Dawn turn essentially to get this guy's effect. But you would look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add a Straw Hat Crew type character to your hand, and then presumably you would also draw for turn. Someone told me that that you wouldn't draw, but nothing in this card text here implies that. So you would actually take 1 card from the search, from the leader search, and you would draw another card from your draw phase, which is pretty freaking cracked. You're drawing 2 cards every turn, and then the crazy part is you're allowed to, after you search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Straw Hat Crew card, you get to place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck. And so right here, I've spelled it out for you guys in case that doesn't make it clear how nuts this leader ability will be. You get to set up 9 cost Sanji perfectly. You're going to search for 9 cost Sanji using this guy's leader ability, and then you are going to set the top card of your deck as something, second from top as this purple Luffy, as this 9 cost purple Luffy on the right here, and then you are going to draw the top card for turn. You just added the Sanji to your hand, you're going to play it, and then that Sanji is going to find the 9 cost Luffy on the top of the deck, play it out, so you get a 9 cost 9k and a 9 cost 10k who rushes and draws you a card after you already drew 2 cards. Your ability to keep your hand size big late game with this guy is going to be freaking nuts. You have Gum Gum Giant to protect yourself, and you're already a 6k leader. I think definitely the challenge is going to be getting to the late game as only a 3 life leader, but Red Purple Luffy clearly proved that it's not impossible. That guy is still doing pretty decent at the moment, and I think this Luffy is just going to be even more cracked. A search every single turn on top of your draw is nuts. Again, if there's turns out to be some kind of ruling where you don't draw for turn because of this guy, then this leader definitely becomes significantly worse, but you still get to set up this 9 cost Sanji really well. You also have other options like the 9 cost Lin Lin that you can play off of him that would allow you to heal a life, which is really good as a 3 life leader. And yeah, no, I'm just excited to play this guy. I think a lot of old cards are going to be very, very good thanks to this guy. So super excited for Blue Purple Luffy. But moving on, we have got Blue Yellow Nami, and I was not expecting this at all, guys, but this leader is freaking cracked. So let's take a look. We've got 4 life, 5,000 power. She's a Straw Hat Crew character, obviously, or leader. And during your turn, once per turn, when a life leaves either life pile, So it doesn't matter whether you attack your opponent and they take a life, or whether you choose to take your own life using a card like Hiyori or Flampe or God knows any of the other cards in yellow that allow you to take your own life. If a life leaves any life pile, you may activate this effect. Draw one card if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand. That's a very high number. That is crazy. Flampe essentially becomes a draw 3 in this scenario. You would play your 1-cost Flampe, take a life, so you get one back. So you've gone net 0 there, and then you would draw one card from Flampe's effect, and then you would draw one card from leader effect. So Flampe essentially gives you a +2 to your hand size, and allows you to see 3 new cards. That is freaking nuts. Hiyori also allows you to stack life while drawing a card. So you go sorry, you would go net 0. Normally Hiyori negs 1. Instead, you would go net 0 while getting to stack your life, and that's already really good, right? You get to just manipulate your life pile and get rewarded for it. But Dawn ×1, when your opponent attacks once per turn, you may trash one card from your hand. Give this leader plus 2,000 power for this turn. Now, I thought this was a typo, guys. I thought, like, this had to have been translated wrong or something, but no, it turns out this is correct. You get to trash one card from your hand, give this leader plus 2,000, a plus 2,000 buff that lasts the entire turn. Your leader is base 7k for simply discarding a card, and you have another effect that allows you to keep drawing cards, keep your hand size, big. It's not like Blackbeard where you're constantly negging and you don't have a lot of ways to recover it, or at least, the ways to recover it are reliant on your opponent's KOs. Over here, you have complete control over, drawing more cards for yourself, and you're of course going to play like 4 copies of Flampe and stuff like that. In case you get really low, you can draw 2 cards off of plays like that. And then you are going to be able to just discard any card in hand, turn it into a permanent plus 2k buff on your opponent's turn. That is crazy. It allows you to recklessly run so many of the boss monsters in yellow that don't have any counter. 9-cost Yamato, probably not 10-cost Ace because the ability does require Dawn ×1. But yeah, I mean, you will definitely be able to play a lot of like the brickier cards in yellow without any, reluctance, because your leader can just convert them into a permanent 2k counter every single turn. And then here we have a card that was announced as well for OP11. This is a 2k counter. It's a Zeus card, apparently. That Nami is featured in this artwork more, but if you look at this character card on the right, we've got Zeus. On play, you may add the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand, and then KO an opponent's character with a cost of 5 or less, and it's a 2k counter. This is freaking nuts. You're obviously going to run 4 of these, and you just have 4 2k counters that can just be converted into a Thunderbolt at any time. And when you choose to Thunderbolt your opponent's characters, when you're playing this leader, you're going to draw a card off of it, thanks to the leader ability. This is freaking insane. I'm actually not looking forward to this Nami leader. I think it's going to be very irritating to play against, and I definitely think this is going to be meta, dude. A 7k base and the ability to just unbrick your hand at any time and just draw more cards is... Ugh, this leader's gonna be a nightmare, man. I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, time to be terrorized by another blue Nami, I guess. And last but not least, guys, we all knew this one was coming because they announced these 5 leaders, and if you noticed, not a single one of them was red or black. And they had already told us that OP11 was going to be the debut of the new sword archetype. And so everybody called that Red Black KOBY was going to be the final leader. And sure enough, just this morning he got announced. And I am hyped, man. I was super excited when people were speculating about Red Black KOBY because Red Black Garp, as you guys might know, is one of my favorite leaders in the game. And I really wanted him to get some support. Whether or not he's actually going to get, significant support and synergy from KOBY's archetype, is remains to be seen. But this leader himself looks really freaking cool, guys. He's actually very similar to Sabo. So let's take a look at the effect. KOBY is, of course, a red-black leader, 4 life, 5,000 power, and he is navy and sword. That's very important. I'm glad that they didn't just make this some exclusive archetype, because I feel like they've done nonsense like this in the past where like a character should have 2 types, but they only gave them 1. I'm glad that they made him navy and sword. So his first ability is your sword type characters can attack characters the turn they are played. That's crazy. He grants all sword characters rush. Again, remains to be seen what the sword characters actually look like. I hope they don't nerf the hell out of them in order to like account for this leader ability. I hope they don't like overbalance there. But yeah, the sword type characters are gonna gain pseudo rush. They can attack characters as soon as they're played, which is really good. That clearly comes from the red side of his leader effect. And then your second ability is very, very similar to Red Black Sabo. Once per turn, when one of your navy type characters, so this one is, the first ability is based off sword, the second one is based off of navy. So again, I have to assume that the sword characters that are released as support for KOBY in this set are going to also be navy. We can only pray. But yeah, once per turn, when one of your navy type characters with an original power of 7,000 or less would be removed from play by your opponent's effects, would be removed from play any which way. Whether you put it into life, whether you bottom deck it, trash it, KO it, doesn't matter. Unlike Red Black Sabo, this isn't just for KOs, this is for any kind of removal. You may instead place 3 cards from your trash on the bottom of your deck in any order. So instead of your card being removed, you get to just take 3 cards from trash, put them at bottom deck. That is crazy. That is so freaking good. Any type of removal, KOBY can just say no. And this is the type of effect where it's like you're not actually going to use it, but it just exists as a crazy deterrent. Your opponent is basically never going to try to remove your board because they know that you can just say no to it by putting 3 cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck. So you just need to develop a trash quickly enough, which is why, I've put some examples of cards we can use to do that here. Again, really glad they made KOBY a navy leader, which means we can use the 1-cost Sengoku that I've put over here from the Smoker starter deck. This guy allows you to trash 2 navy cards to draw 3 more cards. Really just great card in general. If your leader's a black navy leader, I think Sengoku's an auto include at this point already anyway, but it's going to be particularly good for KOBY because the 2 cards that you put in trash are going to be a resource for your leader's ability. And brand new, same deal. You're going to be able to search for all of your navy cards, which again, I hope all of KOBY's sword cards are also navy cards. That would just make sense given how the leader is. But yeah, brand new is going to be able to find all your new cards and all your old cards from the navy archetype, and he's going to put 2 in trash every time he does so, which is a resource for your leader ability. So this is just amazing. And then I've posted the Admirals here as well because I think they're going to be really freaking good in this deck. Borsalino is a 4-cost 6k blocker who cannot be KO'd by effects already, and then if they try to get rid of him any other way, your leader's there to protect him. 4-cost Kuzan is so much safer when you know that your leader ability is there to back him up. And 6-cost Sakazuki is just really good because again, he is that 7k threshold. So we have to keep in mind that KOBY can only use his effect to save things that are 7k or less. So here we've got 6-cost Sakazuki, who's kind of at the upper echelon of that threshold, but he's going to be a really good card. I think he's going to make a comeback in this deck because just KOing a 5 is very, very good while establishing a 7k body that cannot be removed by effects the following turn. So, this KOBY leader is going to be really good, guys. I am super freaking excited. It kind of eclipses Sabo a little bit, so as a red-black Sabo player, I'm a little salty. But to be fair, he can only do this with Navy characters, so you are locked into a certain archetype, but I still think this is going to be really good, man. I'm excited to see what the sword support is. Definitely if we get more stuff revealed here about what these leaders supports are going to be, I will definitely make another video about it. But yeah, guys, this is all for now. I am super excited about OP11. Let me know what you guys think. Which leader are you most hyped to play? What are you cooking up? Are there some crazy strategies with old cards that synergize with these new leader effects that just I haven't thought of yet? Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, guys, definitely like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want to see in future videos, and we will see you in the next one, guys. Peace.